blessing, we are going to read the chapter 5 of Sai Satcharita. Baba's return with Chand Patel's marriage party, welcomed and addressed as Sai, contact with other saints, his dress and daily routine, the story of the Padugas, wrestling boat with Mohdin and change in life, turning water into oil, pseudo Guru Jawahar Ali. Return with Chand Patel's marriage party. As hinted in the last chapter, I shall now describe first how Sai Baba returned to Shruti after his disappearance. There lived in the Aurangabad district in a village called Doob a well-to-do Mohammedan gentleman by name Chand Patel. While he was making a trip to Aurangabad, he lost his mare. For 2 long months he made a diligent search but could get no trace of the lost mare. After being disappointed, he returned from Aurangabad with the saddle on his back. After traveling 4 course and a half, he came on the way to a mango tree under the foot of which sat a Ratna. He had a cap on his head, wore kafni, and had a satka under his armpit, and he was preparing to smoke a chilim. On seeing Chand Patel pass by the way, he called out to him and asked him to have a smoke and to rest a little. The fakir asked him about the saddle. Chand Patel replied that it was of his mare which was lost. The queer fellow or fakir asked him to make a search in the nala close by. He went, and the wonder of wonders, he found out the mare. He thought that this fakir was not an ordinary man, but an Avelia. He returned to the fakir with the mare. The chilim was ready for being smoked, but two things were wanting. One, fire to light the pipe, and second one, water to wet the chapi, that means the piece of cloth through which smoke is drawn up. The fakir took his prong and thrust it forcibly into the ground, and out came a live burning coal, which he put on the pipe. Then he dashed the satka on the ground, from whence water began to ooze. The chapi was wetted with that water, was then wrung out and wrapped round the pipe. Thus, everything being complete, the fakir smoked the chilim and then gave it also to Chand Patel. On seeing all this, Chand Patel was wonderstruck. He requested the fakir to come to his house and accept his hospitality. Next day, he went to the Patel's house and stayed there for some time. The Patel was a village officer of Dhoop. His wife's brother's son was to be married, and the bride was from Shruti. So Patel made preparations to start for Shruti for the marriage. The fakir also accompanied the marriage party. The marriage went off without any hitch. The party returned to Dhoop, except the fakir alone stayed in Shruti and remained there forever. How the fakir got the name Sai? When the marriage party came to Shruti, it alighted at the foot of a banyan tree in Bhagat Mahal Salpadi's field near Khandoba's temple. The carts were loosened in the open courtyard of Khandoba's temple. And the members of the party descended one by one, and the fakir also got down. Bhagat Mahal Salpadi saw the young fakir getting down and accosted him, Ya Sai, that means welcome Sai. Others also addressed him as Sai, and henceforth he became known as Sai Baba. Contact with other saints. Sai Baba began to stay in the deserted masjid. One saint named Devidas was living in Shruti many years before Baba came there. Baba liked his company. He stayed with him in the Maruti temple in the Chavadi and in some time lived alone. Then came another saint by name Janki Das. Baba spent most of his time in talking with him, or Janki Das went to Baba's residence. So also one Vaishya householder saint from Puntabe by name Gangagir always frequented Sriti. When he first saw Sai Baba carrying pitchers of water in both hands for watering the garden, he was amazed and said openly, Blessed in Shruti that it got this precious jewel. This man is carrying water today, but he is not an ordinary fellow. As this land Shruti was lucky and meritorious, it secured this jewel. So also one famous saint by name Anandnath of Yavala Mutt, a disciple of Akalkot Maharaj, came to Shruti with some Shruti people. When he saw Sai Baba, he said openly, "This is a precious diamond in reality. Though he looks like an ordinary man, he is not a gar, that means ordinary stone, but a diamond. You will realize this in the near future." Saying this, he returned to Yavala. This was said while Sai Baba was a youngster. Baba's dress and daily routine. In his young days, Sai Baba grew hair on his head, never had his head shaved. He dressed like an athlete. When he went to Recital, he brought with him small plants of marigold, jai, and jui, and after cleaning, he planted and watered them. A devotee by name Vaman Tatya supplied him daily with the two earthen pitchers. With this, Baba himself used to water the plants. He drew water from the well and carried the pitcher on his shoulders. In the evening, the pitchers were kept at the foot of the neem tree. As soon as they were placed there, they were broken, as they were made of earth, raw earth and not baked. Next day, Tatya supplied two fresh pitchers. This course went on for 3 years, and with Sai Baba's toil and labor, there grew a flower garden. On this site, at present, stands the big mansion, Samadhi Mandir of Baba, which is now frequented and used by so many devotees. The story of Paduga's footprints under the neem tree. A devotee of Akalkot Maharaj by name Bhai Krishnaji Ali Badkar worshipped the photo of Akalkot Maharaj. He once thought of going to Akalkot in Sholapur district, taking the darshana of the Padugas, footprints of the Maharaj, and offering his sincere worship there. But before he could go there, he got a vision in his dream. Akalkot Maharaj appeared in the vision and said to him, "Now Shruti is my resting place. Go there and offer your worship." So Bhai changed his plan and came to Shruti, worshipped Baba, stayed there for 6 months and was happy. As a reminiscence of this vision, etc., he prepared the Padugas and installed them on an auspicious day of Shravan Shaka 1834 under the neem tree, with the due ceremonies and formalities conducted by Dada Kelkar and Ubasani. One Dikshit Brahmin was appointed for worship and the management was entrusted to devotee Sagun. Complete version of the story. Mr. B.V. Deo, retired Mamlatdar of Thane and a great devotee of Sai Baba, made enquiry about this matter with Shagun Meru Naik and Govind Kamalakar Dikshit, and has published a full version of the Padugas in Sai Leela, volume 11, number 1, page 25. It runs as follows. In 1834 Shaka, one Dr. Ramrao Kotare of Bombay came to Shruti for Baba's darshana. His compounder and his friend Bhai Krishnaji Ali Badkar accompanied him. The compounder and Bhai became intimate with the Shagun Meru Naik and G.K. Dikshit. While discussing things, these people thought that there must be some memorial of the fact of Sai Baba's first coming to Shruti and sitting under the holy neem tree. They thought of installing Baba's Padugas there and were going to make them of some rough stones. Then Bai's friend, the compounder, suggested that if this matter be made known to his master, Dr. Ramrao Kotare, who would prepare nice padugas for this purpose. All liked the proposal and Dr. Kotare was informed of it. He came to Shruti and drew a plan of the padugas. He went to Ubasani Maharaj of in Khandoba's temple and showed him his plan. The latter made many improvements, drew lotus, flowers, conch, disc, man, etc., and suggested that the following sloka regarding the neem tree's greatness and Baba's yogi power be inscribed. The verse was as follows. Sada nimba vrikshasya muladi vasat sudha sravinam tiktamapya priyam tarum kalpa vrikshadigam sayandam namamishwaram sadgurum sainadam. Upasani's suggestions were accepted and carried out. The padukas were made in Bombay and sent to Shruti with the compounder. Baba said that they should be installed on the Paurnami 15th day of Shravan. On that day at 11 a.m., G.K. Dikshit brought them on his head from Khandoba's temple to the Dwarka Mai in procession. Baba touched the Paduka, saying that these are the feet of the Lord, and asked the people to install them under the foot of the neem tree. A day before, one Parsi devotee of Bombay named Pasha Seth sent rupees 25 by money order. Baba gave this sum for the installation of the Padukas. The total expense of installation came up to rupees 100, out of which rupees 75 were collected by subscriptions. For the first 5 years, G.K. Dikshit worshipped the Padukas daily, and then Lakshman Kanjeshwar Jakhandi did this. In the first 5 years, Dr. Kotare sent rupees 2 per month for lighting, and he also sent the railing around the Padukas. The expense of bringing the railing from station to Shruti and roofings was paid by Shagun Meru Naik. Now Jakhandi Nana Pujari does the worship, and Shagun Meru Naik offers the Naivedyam and lighting the evening lamps. Bhai Krishnaji was originally a devotee of Akkalkot Maharaj. He had come to Shruti at the installation of the Padukas. In Shaka 1834, on his way to Akkalkot, he wanted to go to Akkalkot after taking the darshana of Baba. He asked Baba's permission for this. Baba said, "Oh, what is there in Akkalkot? Why do you go there? The incumbent Maharaj of that place is here, myself." Hearing this, Bai did not go to Akkalkot. He came to Shruti off and on after the installation of the Padukas. Mr. B.V. Dio concluded that Hemantpa did not know these details. Had to be known them, he would not have failed to depict them in his Satcharita. Wrestling bout with the Mohuddin Tamboli and change in life. To return to this story, other stories of Baba, there was a wrestler in Sai by name Mohuddin Tamboli. Baba and he did not agree on some items, and both had a fight. In this, Baba was defeated. Henceforth, Baba changed his dress and mode of living. He donned kafni, wore a langot waistband, and covered his head with a piece of cloth. He took a piece of sackcloth for his seat, sackcloth for his bed, and was content with wearing torn and worn out rags. He always said, "Poverty is better than kingship, far better than lordship. The Lord is always brother to the poor." Gangagir was also very fond of wrestling. While he was once wrestling, a similar feeling of dispassion came over him, and at the proper time he heard the voice of an adept saying that he should wear out his body playing with God. So he too gave up samsara and turned towards God realization. He established a mat on the banks of the river near Puntambe and lived there with disciples. Sai Baba did not mix and speak with the people. He only gave answers when he was questioned. By day, he always sat under the neem tree, sometimes under the shade of a branch of a babul tree near the stream or at the outskirts of the village. In the afternoon, he used to walk at random and go at times to Nimagaon. There he frequented the house of Balasaheb Dengle. Baba loved Mr. Balasaheb. His younger brother named Nana Saheb had no son, though he married a second wife. Balasaheb sent Nana Saheb for taking darshana of Sai Baba. And after some time, with his grace, Nana Saheb got a son. From that time onwards, people began to come in numbers to see Sai Baba, and his fame began to spread and reach Ahmednagar. From hence, Nana Sahib Chandorkar and Keshav Chidambar and many others began to come to Shruti. Baba was surrounded by his devotees during day and slept at night in an old and dilapidated masjid. Baba's paraphernalia at this time consisted of a chilim, tobacco, a turmal, long flowing kafni, a piece of cloth round his head, and satka, which he always kept for him. The piece of white cloth on the head was twisted like matted hair and flowed down from the left ear on the back. This was not washed for weeks. He wore no shoes, no sandals. A piece of sackcloth was his seat for most of the day. He wore a cowpin, and forwarding of cold he always sat in front of a duni with his left facing south with his left hand resting on the wooden railing. In that duni he offered as oblation, egoism, desires and all thoughts, and always uttered Allah Malik. The masjid in which he sat was only of two-room dimensions, where all devotees came and saw him. After 1912 AD, there was a change. The old masjid was repaired and a pavement was constructed. Before Baba came to live in this masjid, he lived for a long time in a place, Takia, where his gungur, that means small bells on his legs, Baba danced beautifully, sang with tender love, turning water into oil. Sai Baba was very fond of lights. He used to borrow oil from shopkeepers and keep lamps burning the whole night in the masjid and temple. This went on for some time. The Banians who supplied oil gratis once met together and decided not to give him oil. When, as usual, Baba went to ask for oil, they all gave him a distinct no. Unperturbed, Baba returned to the masjid and kept the dry wicks in the lamps. The Beniyas were watching him with curiosity. Baba took the tamral, that means tin pot, which contained very little of oil, put water into it and drank it and forced it fall in the container. After consecrating the tin pot in this way, he again took water in the tin pot and filled all the lamps with it and lighted it. To the surprise and dismay of the watching Beniyas, the lamps began to burn and kept burning the whole night. The Beniyas repented and apologized. Baba forgave them and asked them to be more truthful in future. The pseudo Guru Jawhar Ali. 5 years after the wrestling bout mentioned above, one fakir from Ahmednagar by name Jawahar Ali came to Rahada with his disciples and stayed in Bakal, spacious room near Veerabhadra temple. The fakir was learned, could repeat the whole Quran, and had a sweet tongue. Many religious and devout people of the village came to him and began to respect him. With the help of the people, he started to build an Idgah near the Veerabhadra temple. There was some quarrel about this affair, on account of which Jawahar Ali had to leave Rahada. Then he came to Shruti and lived in the masjid with Baba. People were captured by his sweet talk and he began to call Baba his disciple. Baba did not object and consented to be his chela. Then both Guru and Chela decided to return to Rahada and live there. The Guru never knew his disciple's worth, but the disciple knew the defects of the Guru. Still, he never disrespected him. Observing carefully his duties, he even served the master in various ways. They used to come to Siddhi off and on, but their main stay was in Rahada. The loving devotees of Baba in Siddhi did not like that Baba should stay away from them in Rahada. So they went in a deputation to bring Baba back to Shruti. When they met Baba near the Idgah and told the purpose for which they came, Baba said to them that the fakir was an ill-tempered fellow. He would not leave him, and that they should better return to Shruti without him before the fakir returned. While they were thus talking, the fakir turned up and was very angry with them for trying to take away his disciple. There were some discussions and altercation, and it was finally decided that both the Guru and Chila should return to Shruti, and so they returned and lived in Shruti. But after a few days, the Guru was tested by Devidas and he was found wanting. 12 years before Baba arrived in Shruti with the marriage party, this Devidas, aged about 10 or 11, came to Shruti and lived in the Maruti temple. Devidas had fine features and brilliant eyes, and he was dispassion incarnate and a Janani. Many peoples, namely Tatya Kote, Kashinath, and others, regarding him as their guru. They brought Jawahar Ali in his presence, and in the discussion that follows, Jawahar was worsted and fled from Shruti. He went and stayed in Bijapur and returned after many years to Shruti and prostrated himself before Sai Baba. The delusion that he was a guru and Sai Baba his chila was cleared away, and as he repented, Sai Baba treated him with respect. In this case, Sai Baba showed by actual conduct how one should get rid of egoism and do the duties of a disciple to attain the highest to the highest ends with self realization. This story is told here according to the version given by Mahal Salpadi, a great devotee of Sai Baba. In the next chapter, we will be described Ram Navami festival, the masjid, its former condition and later improvement, etc. Boy to Sai, Sri Sai, peace to be all.